Coach, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing okay, doing better. Last couple weeks have been pretty tough. The biggest issue has just been the fever. I haven't been able to get rid of the fever, and and that came back and got me last Thursday. I was preparing to go to Texas A&M. Fully was committed to do it. Was going to get up Saturday morning and fly out to meet the team. That's when my 10 days were up, and then my temperature spiked on Thursday night and stayed all day Friday, and then I didn't kick it again until Monday. So just really didn't feel good. I think a lot of people can relate to this thing. It hits some people some ways and it hits other people other ways, and just pretty much 12, 13 straight days of not feeling very well at all. And just the last 2 days have been better. I'll be at practice today for the first time. I've been able to see the players a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday, with some distance, but just been able to be at the field and walk around just was kind of therapeutic for me. But back at it today. Did a practice plan. We'll be at practice today and try to participate as much as I can.
You're gonna be in the dugout this weekend.
That's the plan. Yes.
Okay. One last thing. What did you kind of do to kind of keep from going crazy? I mean, I went through it myself, and kind of what did you do to do that?
Don't know. I didn't. I didn't have a solution because I went crazy. It's really challenging to not be able to go out and do things, go outside, walk around. I tried to walk around a little bit to keep my body moving, but it just completely wore me down. And so, yeah, I mean, you're just kind of like a prisoner in your own house. I was isolated in the basement for about 8 straight days, and just really challenging to not be able to see your kids and to see your wife, and then to have to watch your team on TV, which that's probably the worst part of it, was having to watch on TV, and just that's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do is to watch our team and not be able to be there and have any control at all. It was a challenge.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Mark Weiser and then Jed May.
Hey, Scott, hope you're feeling better.
Thanks, Mark.
So, I mean, will it be touch and go in terms of see how you're feeling day after day, or what has the medical folks said about, how long you can, I guess, I'm saying to go from not coaching to full bore again?
Well, that's been the idea of being back out a little bit on Tuesday. I came out and saw the team before they went to Clemson, before they got on the bus, and was able to address them in person for the first time in about 12 days. And, just getting out, it was helpful for me, and I hope it helped them a little bit. And then yesterday I was at practice and kind of watched from the dugout or of the press club up top, and just was around a little bit, just outside and walked around. And so kind of pacing myself. And that's what today's about. I'll participate some today in practice. Probably won't be able to throw batting practice. I haven't thrown a baseball in 14 days. So probably won't throw batting practice today. But yeah, that's what today's kind of about, just to get out there and move around a little bit and raise my voice a little and get my heart rate going a little, and to be ready to go this weekend. I don't anticipate doing any backflips in the dugout this weekend, but I'm anticipating being able to get through the weekend.
And is there any plans for your players or the rest of your coaching staff to get vaccinated now that that's 16 and older in the state?
Well, I mean, again, that's a personal option, and that's something that we've actually got a seminar in about a week for our players to educate them even more about it. This is why it's recommended. This is why we think you should do it. But we're still going to have players that won't do it, and that's their choice.
Yeah.
And it's a personal choice. It's a family choice. And I think we all know people that just don't want to do it for one reason or another, and that's their personal choice. So we are educating our student athletes. That's for everybody, not just baseball players, that hey, this is the vaccination. This is what it does. These are the effects. This is how it can help you. And we do recommend for them to do it, but it's going to be their personal choice.
Thank you.
Hey, coach, just kind of a two-part question for you. One, you mentioned just being in your basement and watching the games. Just how agonizing is it to not be involved in, the strategy decisions, the not being able to talk to the guys, pitch by pitch and that kind of stuff. And two, I think a couple of the players mentioned that you would send them texts, group text, I think today, before or after games. Just how important was that for you to, I guess, still have them, I guess, read your words if they're not actually hearing your voice?
Well, I mean, they need to hear from me. I mean, I am the head coach. And so I tried to reach out to them, certainly before games and after games, whether we won or lost, and send out a message to them. And, after the Tennessee series, I sent out a pretty lengthy email. Hey, this is what I saw, sitting here watching on TV, kind of separated from everything. This is what I saw. This is what we did well. This is what we didn't do well. And that's a normal, Monday for me is getting in contact with guys and, whether it be Monday or Tuesday that we talk about the weekend and where we got to make some adjustments. But yeah, extremely difficult to not have any control and not to have the kind of contact that I'm used to having. It's been a challenge.
Were you going as far as, charting pitches and that type of stuff in your basement, or was you leaving that to the guys, I guess, that were there in person?
No, that would have been just trying to keep me busy. Maybe I should have done that because it's just, just the time in between pitches and in between innings, and you're just walking around and pacing. And it's really difficult when you're not there and you don't have players to talk to or coaches to talk to, and you're literally talking to yourself. Yeah, I know my wife and kids could hear me in the basement. They knew what was going on. I think they watched some of it, and maybe they didn't watch. I know they didn't watch all of it, but they knew what was going on based on the volume of what was going on in the basement.
Thanks, Coach. Glad to see you're feeling better.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Davis Baker.
Oh yeah, Coach. First of all, definitely hope you're feeling better. But just what do you think of the job that Scott Daly did, stepping up and becoming the active manager for those games?
Well, Scott is a flatliner. Anyone that knows Scott Daly knows that he doesn't get too up or too down. He is very, very calm and cool under pressure, and the players know that, and they really respect that about him. So he just did his job, just showed up and said, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Coach Kenny took care of the pitchers, and I've been with Scott for 17 years now, and trust him with everything. So he's a really, really good baseball coach and a good person and a hard worker. And, he had our players prepared, and Coach Kenny had the pitchers prepared, and really couldn't be in better hands than the coaching staff that we have. Brock Bennett, Nelson Ward, all those guys, they know baseball, and the kids respect them. And so we're in good hands. When I wasn't here, I did not worry about them not being coached well. I can tell you that.
Palmer Toombs.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned, texting with players and such after games. Did you host any team meetings over Zoom or anything? And watching the games on TV, do you feel like there was anything that you maybe gained doing that you don't necessarily get in person, or, just what was that experience like?
We didn't do any Zoom meetings. I talk with the coaching staff before and after games, and before practices, and go over practice plans, and I let them be the communicators, because it's there's only, we know we've gotten so used to this, but there's only so much you can do, and I don't want it to be white noise either. I don't want to talk to them just to talk to them. So I sent out the messages to the guys that I felt like that needed to get them, and also had some text messages to hey, give me a call when you get this, when things settle down, give me a call. I want to talk to you a little bit. So, did that with several guys. I just didn't feel the need to sit here, and they didn't have to see me every single day, but they did hear from me a lot. And, but as far as seeing stuff on TV, no, not really. We watch the film of games afterwards. So we're always gathering information, maybe things that we didn't see. It's amazing the things that you don't see when you're watching on TV. The camera angles don't switch soon enough, or, like when Parks Harbor went out, I didn't know why he went out at the time. I found out afterwards. I wasn't even allowed to find out during the game because I can't have any contact with anyone in the dugout. I wasn't even allowed to text the trainer. I actually started to. I'm like, nope, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. So I had to wait to find out after the game. He took a shot during BP in an area that made him uncomfortable. And by about his second at bat, he just couldn't keep going. So, but I found that out after the game. I had no idea why he came out, and obviously was concerned. I'm like, oh no, a hamstring or something like that. But luckily, he's okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.